Hey YouTube, today we're going to look at tile. I have a couple people asking me about how to do tile, and they've got projects that they want to do. So I'm going to go over a couple things with you. We're going to start off with just the cutting and stuff like that, and we'll get into other stuff as I do some projects. So there's stone tile, there's ceramic tile, stones of different grades, ceramics of different grade. For most of what you're going to do, it's going to be the same. If you're using a diamond saw, if you're not using a diamond saw, well, then certain cutters won't work with stone. And the glass tile that has the little pieces all glued together. I much prefer the diamond type cutting because you can use it for anything. It's faster, it's cleaner. The downside of it is it's much noisier. But you can get nicer cuts, and you don't have to worry about tile breakage and stuff like that as long as you take your time. So today I'm going to be cutting just regular ceramic tile. On this tile here, you'll see that I'm making multiple cuts. The reason I have the scribble marks inside is that's the piece that's getting cut out. Also going to be making some basic straight cuts. Now, one of the things you can use is just a regular angle grinder with a diamond blade on it. Okay, this diamond blade has little mini serrations on it that helps keep it cool. Okay, if you're going to be cutting tile or stone, you don't want a solid blade because it'll overheat. If you have a solid blade, you need water. Some of these blades will actually have slits in the blades as well. I don't generally use those ones. I use the ones that have the slits just in the diamond. And it's on both sides. Okay, so that's just on a 4.5 inch grinder. That's good for when you have multiple angle cuts that come together. Like the angle cuts on these ones, but you can also use it on straight line cuts. Straight line cuts, you can also use this type of saw. It's a wet saw. So there's a pump right here that blasts water up and it hits the blade. And the way this works is you put your tile on, you line it up, and you feed it through. So this plate moves, the blade doesn't. You can adjust it so the blade goes up and down or whatnot, so you have a proper depth control. But this is what actually moves doing the cutting. Again, downside is these are really loud. So when you see me turning on this or the mini grinder, turn your volume down. Another nice thing about this is if you want to do angles, you can also cut angles like that if you're going to do corner pieces and such. So it's pretty versatile that way. Another option is one of your basic tile cutters. Now the way this works is you put your tile in, and there's a tool here to help you keep it straight. So you line it up at the top, line up that, tighten her down. There's a wheel on here, I'll bring it up closer and show you. So you bring it back, push down, right. This one hasn't been used much, so it's kind of seized. Doesn't get used much because I can't stand it myself. But anyway, so you push down, push back, like that. Let's bring it back, push down, drive it. Okay. Then you bring your blade up. There's an indent in here. You bring your blade up, and there's a piece here. You take that, push down. And what happens is So here's your wheel, right here. That does the scoring. Piece that bends on it is right there. As you can see, it's hollow in the center. And down the middle, there's a piece of metal there and there's foam on either side. So what happens is when you press down, this pushes on the tile and snaps it all the way down. I don't know how many times I've used one of these and broken my tile. I don't use them. If you're good at them, great. If you want to use one of these, spend the money and get a good one. That's why I went to diamond. I've broken so much tile. And by the time you break enough tile, you can buy yourself a diamond blade for your angle grinder. Everybody has their preferences. You can use what you like. So like I said, this one here, this is has a water bath on it. You can rent these at most home centers or rental shops. I'm going to be putting earplugs in, so if I start yelling or get really quiet, that's why. Couple things you want to watch out for. You want to wear safety glasses and you want to wear earplugs. And it may sound funny, but some people when they work, their mouths are open. When you're using diamonds, keep your mouth shut. Because you will get pieces flying everywhere. You know, little shards will fly, hit your glasses, they'll get in your mouth, whatever the case may be. When you're using this type of cutter, when you're going to set your tile up, what you want to do is you want to make sure that this is clean in here. Otherwise what's going to happen is you're not going to be completely square. So you can use just about anything for it. So what I've marked these with is just an HB pencil. So what's going to happen is because this is a water bath, that HB pencil is going to start disappearing. If you've got it nice and tight and square here, then when you cut through, it's not going to matter. Okay, so we'll cut this with the saw. Now's a good time to turn your volume down. Now, you can see there's water there. It's not like that. As you can see, quite a clean cut. You'll know you're going too fast because you'll get a lot of big chips. And at the very end, you want to slow down. You see how these corners are nice and square? If you're going too fast, you're going to take chunks off. Okay? Sometimes that's going to happen whether you go slow or not, but the faster you go, the better chance that that's going to go like that. So, another product you can use as trim is called a Sluter strip. Okay, so the edge that you'll see is here, and this will go. Sometimes that'll be the edge. Sometimes that'll be the edge, depending on how you do it. For the project that I'm going to be doing next, the edge is going to be this one here. And what this does is gives you a nice finish. So how that works is you put your mortar on whatever you're putting your tile on, then you take the stuff and you put it on the mortar, and that's what'll hold it. Then the mortar, like you normally would. My next project is going to be wall tile, so I'll be back buttering, and I'll show you what that is when the time comes. But what the Sluter strip does is it gives a nice finished edge. Now this particular Sluter strip, I don't know if I can, you can see the gap there. That gap is so that you can grout it, and that gives it an even nicer finished edge. So it all looks like it's part of the same thing. So now we're going to cut the multiple angles. And excuse me for a second, I'm going to grab a marker. So we're going to cut this. Now what I'll do is I'll cut this one here first, and then I'll cut that one. The reason being is if I cut this one first, then all the weight is being held by this tab. Right, so take the load off of that little tab first, and then cut the rest of it. Now this one, like I said, is going to be done with the mini grinder. Again, it's very loud. So when I start this up, turn your volume down. But what's going to happen, if any of you've done woodwork, you'll know, when I get to there, because the blade is round, there's still going to be a little piece on it. And when I come here, there's going to be another little piece on it. Right? If that comes off, as long as it doesn't snap, the rest of it, it's not a big deal. You can just get it with the grinder. Okay, so we're going to give this a go. Turn your volume down. as you can see, that broke off and left a big tab. That's why we took that piece off first. Because if we hadn't, we would have lost that little piece that we were saving. This would have came with it. But the good thing about the mini grinder is when that came off and broke like that, I can still go in and clean it. Okay, so now we have a good edge. Now, if you look here, you'll notice that the edges aren't quite as clean when you're not using a wet saw. That could have been because I moved it just a little tiny bit, or I was going a little bit too fast, or it got a little bit too hot. You really want to take your time with that, but that's going to get covered by grout anyway, so you'll never even notice it. So that there's the basics of cutting the tile. If you have any questions, put them on the comments below, and I'll try to answer them. As for the next part, I'm going to cut some more tile, and then we'll start putting some on the wall. Thanks for watching. See you next time.